With friends like Trina's, who needs enemies? Hey y'all, welcome to General Hospital Envy, my GH After show. I gotta keep it short this week, but let's get into it anyway. First, let's talk about Jennifer Smith. She done showed up to the Haunted Star after Luke's memorial. For those of you that don't know, Jennifer Smith was Frank Smith's daughter. Frank Smith was a mobster in the 80s and also Luke Spencer's boss. And Luke was supposed to marry Jennifer, but on the day of their wedding, Scott found out that Luke raped Laura and punched Luke off the boat. And then Laura pulled him out of the water and they went on the run, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, Jennifer claimed to be there because she wanted to know how Laura was able to move on from Luke, and Laura just said that she just decided to close one door and open another and suggested that she do the same. Shortly after that, Sonny Corinthos showed up super unhinged and super unmedicated. Jennifer was clearly fishing for information on whether or not Sonny was looking to expand his territory, and Sonny said that he was trying to focus on his family. Not long after that, Jennifer made a call to somebody that was probably Mr. Nobody and told them that Sonny wasn't looking to expand his territory. Now, Sonny's manic episode went into full swing this week, y'all. He tries to go up to Curtis and asks if he can borrow his bar on a whim, and Curtis, of course, is not able to do that, and Sonny freaks out on him, and then when Drew tries to talk to him, he calls Drew out on being a crappier version of Jason. I mean, he's not wrong, but still, that's just not nice. Now, of course, Nina happened to be there and she got him out of the bar and into his home, and she even stayed with him the entire night because she was terrified over Sonny's behavior. And the next morning she calls Britt and asks her for help and advice, and she does her best to follow suit with that advice. She did get him to the hospital, but when she left he got too impatient to wait for the doctor, and when he was heading to the elevator he runs into Monica, who shows concern for the man that murdered her son. Soon after that bizarre scene, Brando shows up and he's in a pretty bad way, and Sonny gives him advice and says that he should seek professional help. Yo, Sonny, take your own advice! The man needs to get help. Meanwhile, Carly seemed to be taking a mental health day at the yoga center where she ran into Ava, Brooklyn, and then Nina, so I'm sure her mental health is great. Now, for those of you wondering, no, of course Nina didn't bring up the fact that Sonny had a manic episode and was off his meds to Carly. Not that Carly was letting her get a word in, but Nina could have easily blurted it out, so they're both at fault for their stupidity. Honestly, Sonny should just move back to Nixon Falls without either of them. They're both crazy. Now, I'm not saying that Sonny deserves better than these women, but we deserve a break. We deserve one. We earned it. We've put up with this mess a whole year now. Sasha was there too, and Carly tries to bring up Liam, but she's just saying how great everything is and that she's keeping busy. And Carly warns her that focusing on keeping busy instead of taking the time to grieve Liam could come back to bite her, but Sasha wasn't hearing any of it. Now, let's talk about baby Louise. Maxie, Austin, Felicia, and Anna went back to Pawtuck to try and jog their memory, and as Maxie feared, Austin started to remember more than what she would have liked him to. And instead of telling him the truth, she spun a lie and kissed the guy. Maxie Jones, this would have been the time to tell the truth. Oh my god, and now Peter August knows the truth. Let's talk about how that happened. Valentine still had the sonogram that Brooklyn gave him back when she was faking her pregnancy, and Victor offered to take it off his hands for the sake of Valentine's sanity, and he gives him the sonogram. And then Victor literally runs into Maxie, and Maxie drops her things, which among them was her sonogram of her baby. And Victor obviously noticed, and so he took Valentine's sonogram over to the hospital and found out that this was in fact Maxie's sonogram, and he took that information right to Peter August. Hey y'all, Dion here in the editing room. I forgot to mention that Victor then drugged and kidnapped Valentine, because Valentine figured it out too. My bad, I was too lazy to re-record it on video, so here we are. Let's continue. Peter then runs into Brooklyn, Chase, and baby Louise, and he looks at Louise and says, wow, I never noticed it before, but she really does look like her mother. And Brooklyn was a little bit scared, but obviously Chase was like, well no, how would he even know at this point? Oh Chase, there's always a way. Always. Let's talk about Christina, because who knows when we're going to see this girl again. So she and Sam butted heads this week because Sam informed her that she put Harmony on notice, and Christina wasn't down for that. She didn't like that Sam was fighting her battles for her, and she did mention that Harmony did testify against Shiloh, and she's clearly trying to move on with her life, and she doesn't like Harmony, but she doesn't feel right about deciding who her mother should be friends with. Now, Alexis still doesn't know how Christina feels about her and Harmony's friendship, so because of that, she decides to cool things down with Harmony, just until she talks to Christina at least. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this story is like a whole lot of nothing considering they put this actress on contract. Like, I honestly expected something a bit more substantial with the character than this. Alright y'all, let's talk about this cabin situation with the teens. We finally get to see it. The teens head over to the mountains to have their romantic adventure, and it all goes to hell in a handbasket real quick. All the besties are chatting with each other while Esme makes cocoa with whiskey, and of course, she laces one of them with the drugs that she got. Guess whose? To make sure everyone drinks up, Esme decides that everyone should play a drinking game, Never Have I Ever, and within the first couple of sips, Trina's already feeling the drugs kick in. Trina's already getting a little bit flustered and confused, and Esme says, "Never have I ever dated my best friend," and Trina takes a sip of her drink, when really it shouldn't be that way because she didn't date her best friend, she never technically dated Cam, and then that brings up a conversation about Cam and Trina's past relationship. Esme puts into question on whether or not Trina resents Joss and Cam for dating, and Trina does point out that she just misses how it was the three of them before and that she feels a little bit left out. And of course this upsets Trina, and she's also not feeling good, so she runs to the bathroom and Jocelyn calls Esme out. Jocelyn not only accuses Esme of setting out to humiliate Trina, but she also brings up the time that she put Jocelyn on notice and said that minding her business would cost her. Esme, of course, tries to play the victim, crocodile tears and all, and Spencer looks at her and says, "Did you try to humiliate Trina?" And of course, Esme gets even more mad, and you know what she says? "Trina's got you wrapped around her little finger," and then she storms off, and Jocelyn's like, Spencer even asks Cameron what he thinks, and Cameron's like, "You really have to ask if I think that? Of course I do." Then of course Esme announces that she's leaving and she called a car and she's all mad, but not before she went into Joss and Cameron's room and set up a new plan in motion. Now we'll get into what that was in a moment here, but I've got some things to say about what went down after Esme and Spencer left, okay? Because Trina was clearly very sick, and for some reason they weren't even remotely suspicious that the few sips that she took got her that drunk. Okay, that's already stupid in itself. However, regardless of that, instead of actually checking in on Trina, Jocelyn and Cameron decide, you know what, let's just lose our virginity now. They don't even bother to check in on Trina. Trina, once this is all over, you need to get new friends. I mean, first of all, y'all shouldn't even be drinking because you're underage. I mean, for all we know, they could have aged you, I guess, since being in college. Who knows? It's a soap. But regardless, always check in on your friends that got sick from alcohol. Like, I don't care if someone tells you that they're passed out in their bed, you at least peek through the door to see if they're okay or if they need anything, you know, a glass of water, something. So yeah, Cameron and Jocelyn make love. However, this was Esme's plan. She, I guess, had an inkling that Cam and Jocelyn would have sex in their room, so she put her phone there and set it to record, and so Jocelyn and Cameron's first time is on Esme's phone, and I'm a little bit confused because, like, obviously that phone is still there, and unless Esme's gonna sneak back to the cabin to grab it, like, I'm just trying to figure out what Esme's way of thinking here. I mean, obviously she's going to post that video online for the world to see, but clearly Cam and Joss are gonna know who filmed it. They're not gonna think that Trina did it. And when Spencer finds out, he's gonna drop Esme like yesterday's newspaper. I mean, yeah, Spencer is going to jail for a month, so he might not be aware for a month, unless of course Joss or Cameron visit him. But after that, it's over, and Esme's gotta know that. All to humiliate Jocelyn for seeing right through her. That girl is clearly madly insecure. Sad, really. Now, those were all the major plot points, but there were some fun moments at least worth mentioning that happened here and there, such as Chase in his underwear and Brooklyn walking in on it. Obviously some fan service for the fans as well. We also got to see Monica and Yuri interacting. Super cute. We also had a Marshall recast on Friday's episode, but he's already back Monday, so that's just over and done with already. Curtis did tell Stella that Marshall told him the whole truth, and when he explained what that truth was, Clearly Stella was like, with a poker face, of course. Stella's actually really hard for me to read because sometimes it feels like she's trying to take pity on Marshall, and sometimes she's like, you know what, Marshall is shady, you need to stay away. Personally, I still think Marshall is dying, but I also think that he's probably shady. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. I hope you guys liked it. Stay tuned this Wednesday for an all-new live stream of GHMV Reacts on the Dion's Corner channel. We are watching all the past karaoke performances at Jake's from like 2009, 2010 era. It'll be a really fun one. I hope you guys tune in with me. And if you liked this video here, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.